Hi, I'm Heinbach. Today I want to show you how I compose for the theater. So the first thing that happens when I get commissioned to write for a play is that I talk to the director. She usually has a bunch of ideas about how the play is going to look like, feel like, sound like. So I get a broad picture. I get a script, which gives me an entry into the world. I try to get the feel for the language, its texture, which also determines which instruments I will choose. If it's something classical, like a Greek play, I tend to make music that's more vast and deep and simple because the language itself has a lot of power and it's very absolute. If it's a modern play, I tend to use more tiny, fragmented instruments. If it's something in between, it depends. I might add period instruments, but use them in my modern process. One thing for this play, it's called Transit, and it's actually a novel that's been adapted for the stage. It deals with the experience of all the people trying to flee Germany and France in the 1940s through Marseille. So there's a lot of waiting involved, lots of ships coming by and sailing away, drownings, and people trying to get their passes and take a ship and not get killed by the Nazis, preferably. So that informed me that I wanted to portray life in this seaside town. First, you have the vastness of the sea. You have an evil force pushing you almost to the sea. And you've got all this bureaucracy hindering you to leave. And also life in the cafes and restaurants where you spend your time waiting. So I introduced a bunch of small instruments and I make sound collages. For this I use simple instruments like this melodica, or a Michelson toy piano from the 1970s. An ukulele, my mbira, and of course the piano behind me, because this is something that connects also back to the time of the 1940s. This is a Bechstein from the 1920s. It sounds like it has seen some shit. It's perfectly in tune, but it's not intonated in any way. So all the octaves tell their own story. But I like that. For scoring, that's super useful. And I pick it up with two GFL 691 microphones or with dictaphones, of course. So after I've determined the instrumentation that I'm going to use, we start spotting with the director. That means finding scenes where there should be music. It can be just a transition, because music is perfect for creating time transitions, like day and night or even years passing. Or it can be a scene where the music tells the story. I call these sometimes big dog scenes. For example, we have a giant set piece coming in and you want to enhance even that. And you don't need words, you just need the image and the music and everything to work together to create one giant thing. Big dog, because it happened the first time when we introduced, I think that was 12 years ago, 4 actors in one big dog made out of foam, coming in, fighting the protagonist, splitting up, becoming 4 smaller dogs. Another fight ensued. It was like a 3-5 minute scene with a lot of rapatam, war music, fight music, lots of single cues, and it was a lot of fun. So I always look for these big dog scenes. In other places it can be a Zeppelin coming on, and just if you have the giant drone coming up from the loudspeakers in the back, moving over the audience, and the actors look above, you can just see that also. You feel the giant thing, you don't have to show it. So after I've recorded the music for these concrete scenes, I record a bunch of stuff more, like variations of the theme, so I can construct the whole soundtrack from all the pieces I've assembled before. In theater, you have to adapt a lot because the script you go into production with is not the script that's there at the end. So what I'm going to do now is I'll try to write one piece for the soundtrack and show you all my techniques during that time. It will be a little bit challenging because I don't really know how I'm going to film that, and I might just get in a flow state at some point and forget about the camera, but I guess we'll see in the end how it turns out. So, enjoy. So this track that I'm going to do now is in a way special because I already composed a bunch of music that I can use in different scenes, so I'm pretty much free to do as I like with this one. So I'll just see where the ideas that I get from playing with my instruments take me. It might be that this turns out to be something dramatic, but I think I'm going for a lighter mood right now. But we'll see at the end of the video how it turns out. So, first thing I'll do is I'll set the Coco Quantos. Check the video on that again, if you need to know more about it. And I'll start by making a sound collage using the dual loopers on this. And I'm gonna take the ukulele. Because remember, one of the things about the whole soundtrack was the whole cafe atmosphere. And I tried to catch that by using some lighter instruments than the usual synthesizers that I often employ. So I tried to get this kind of atmosphere of, drifting by street music. Just as an idea. Like a gene, in the DNA of the music. So now let's pitch that a bit down. Picking up my grandfather's violin. I can't really play that, but I love to just pluck it and sometimes do single chords and loop them. As you can hear, the sound's already very broken because of the lo-fi quality, and we're going to make this even more broken later on, but I think that will give it a nice texture. Let's try the Suzuki on this, which is like a polyphonic flute. Sounds almost like seagulls. Now this sounds already a bit weird, so now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy that loop to the other delay by using one of the direct outs of the Coco Quantos and plugging it into another input. So now we have it on both. Now I'm going to see what happens when I pitch one down even further. And the other one also. I actually like the second loop, which I recorded a bunch of times over, better. So I might start by building upon that. I've got an OP1 here, let's see if it can add something. Okay, this is an atmosphere that I like and I think I can do something with. So what I'm going to try now is I want to run it through a tape echo to give it even more of an old record feeling. It's the old copycat over here. Four-head tape machine. Now we gotta find some different sort of movement in there. It's too much already, it's too much. Adding a few OK1 notes. So this has, for me, it has kind of a summer evening kind of feeling that I like. But of course, I feel like now that we've got the lo-fi part down, and there's something interesting there, we can start working on like in a more hi-fi accompaniment. Because when you mix lo-fi sounds with something that sounds high quality, it creates a nice tension. I really think this could be a part. Let's go back to the computer and see how it turned out. Okay, quiet this machine. And now, let me take out the Nagra. Now here's the Nagra, the lovely 1964 model. And I'm going to use this microphone, the Sennheiser MD441, one of the most beautiful mics ever made, to record the piano and then play it back on the Nagra in a different tempo and see if that works. So, I think we're at the right point. This sounds rather nice. Let me add some reverb from the Dynachord. The tape is done. Let's try and see how we combine everything in the DAW. I feel like this is already nice, but I think the high noisy loop could use some accompaniment just to embed it more in the whole thing and to make it more interesting after some time, because somehow right now it starts grinding on me. So let's try to go for the Uno. So the Uno is one of my most favorite synthesizers ever, simply because it always sounds good. So let's see if I can find something on it. Yes. I'm running it through the copycat again, but this time I want to add a massive reverb from the Quadraverb, or the Lasers unit. Yep, I think that's it. I don't want to do anything anymore. That's a good feeling. So in the final pass, when I added the I really felt that it suddenly came together. While before it was 3 different parts that were loosely connected, making a melody that fit exactly with the loop, which we started out the whole thing with, glued it together. So now it's one piece. This is music that I would see not as foreground music, but more something in the background. There's enough space that actors can talk over that. There's no frequencies that fight with text. So you could have any scene that needs this emotion, which for me is like Sehnsucht, Fernweh, the pain and the longing for a destination where you've never been. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I had fun making it, though I have to say adding the process of cameras to the creative process like this is a bit difficult, but it feels like I'm talking to a friend now. So, yeah, see you soon and like and subscribe. Bye bye.